Hello again, everybody. This is Steve, coming to you with another writing update. When I did the last one, I wasn't sure if I'd have enough content to do a second update this month. Usually, my updates are like once every 2 to 3 months, or at least they have been. And then the last couple of months, it's been like one per month. So I was kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I got stuff picking up enough that I might have enough for a December update, and it looks like I'm going to. So, as of this point, I have, I wasn't sure if I had the part two before, but I do now. So let's go ahead and get into this. Okay. So for our December 2023 writing update, part two, starting out with point one, Short Story Fridays. That's something new I've just started doing, and I've got 3 videos posted. I've got the Tin Cup, which is my annual Christmas story. I usually like to do that one every year at Christmas, just because it's a fun Christmas story. Next year, though, I'll probably do something different. Excuse me. I'll do a new story and something unique for Christmas, because Tin Cup's been around for about 10 years, so it's probably time to get something new in there. Now, that being said, of the 3 so far, everybody seems to enjoy the Gorlon encounter. I'm kind of surprised at that one, because that started out and it was real slow and it was kind of picking up, and I'm like, just kind of a little competition with myself, like, come on, get the same numbers as the Tin Cup. I thought 70 views would be on YouTube and like 25 or 30 over on Rumble would be just amazing. And like, wow, and it's someone of you, or several someones of you, posted that evidently on social media and other places, because that video has blown up. I mean, I'm over here happy with like 7, 9, 20, 30 video, views on a video, and then all of a sudden I got one that's racking almost 700 views, 21 likes. I'm like, okay, clearly I hit a happy point with a whole lot of people, because that completely caught me by surprise, and I do want to thank you guys for that. That is so huge. That makes me feel so good that people are listening to my books, they're reading my books, and as an author, I'm happy. I am super, super happy. Anyways, continuing on with this, as you can see in this list here, I've got 7 books already in queue to come up. They're already scheduled and everything. They'll come out on their typical Friday. They're scheduled up through, what is it, like either end of February or close to end of February. But yeah, I've got at least those 7 already queued up. A couple of them are multiple chapters, so they're gonna stretch across several weeks, which is why I can have 7 of these and like 10 weeks and still be able to fill all those slots. So of these, Elevations is a fun one. I'm not going to tell you anything about that one. You get to wait for that one. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but that's a fun one. That's kind of a feel-good story about well, it's fun and it's feel-good. And like I say, I'm not going to spoil it. You get to find out what it is, but you'll enjoy it. Trust me. It's not a long story, but it's a good one. Sprites Ahoy! If you're a gamer, you're going to love that one. Especially if you're a kid, because it's targeted more towards kids. It's not like a kids book, but it leans pretty heavily that direction. The introduction, that's got to be one of my short little vignette ones. It's like 5 minutes, but it's a good story, and it's feel good, and it's funny, and you'll like it. Tabby the Butler is kind of a fantasy adventure. What does it mean to be a Christian? That's my pocket guide. That's a single episode. And I'll explain more about that when I get into my musings, number 13, I think it is. So you'll have to wait a couple weeks. I think it's actually by now a couple of months to get to musings 13, but it'll be explained more in there about that. Ferret's Folly, that's a fantasy. That's a single episode. Love, God's Greatest Gift. That one's the 4 episodes. That's the one that fills in the mysterious 3 other episodes needed to get me to the end of February. But again, that one is, if you know, it's a Christian pocket guide, just like what does it mean to be a Christian and love God's greatest gift. So, but they are worth listening to if you're interested. Very inspirational, very heartwarming, very educational. As far as what I'm still working on, I've got a short story. It's actually a short pirate story. It's like 6 pages, I think. And we're talking like, 6 pages in like Microsoft Office or LibreOffice or whatever you happen to use. I think it spills a little bit over into the 7th page, but not too far into there. So it's about the size of Ferret's Folly and Tabby the Butlers. So I don't know if it would go all the way up to Gorlon encounter size. In other words, like the 30 minutes of story, but pretty close. But it's really good. And the fun part is I've actually recently I start talking and all of a sudden my throat gets all clogged up. Anyhow, it was a little short story, one episode, kind of like essentially one scene. Like if you were watching a movie, this would be one scene. It started out as just a one scene adventure called Point Cape. It's a pirate adventure. But then I realized, as I was working on it, I didn't do it justice. There was so much more story there that I needed to fill out. So I decided to build out 2 more. I've got the basics already built out on them. I've got to write them. Point Cape was already written. That was part of, I think, either the Dreamland articles or Storyland articles or both. I don't remember if it was in both of those or just the one. Originally, it would have been in Dreamland articles. Anyhow, that one is one I'm working on. And that one should, theoretically, be done. Well, I'm recording this late Sunday night because I just got off work. So it's the 17th right now still for another 45 minutes. So you figure 18th, 19th, 20th. So yeah, I should be done with the editing on it by the 20th, and then I'll add it to the pile. You're not going to actually see it until first Friday in March, I think. But you'll like it. It's going to be a good story. And in Jenna's Journey, I can definitely tell that I've changed a lot and improved a lot as a writer, because when I released it 10 years ago, that book, in my opinion, was perfect. There was nothing needed to be fixed, nothing needed to be edited. I started working on it to put it out there for audiobooks, like I'm doing with the other stuff on this channel, and I looked at that and was just cringe. I was like, I can't believe I let all this stuff get through. But you gotta remember, it's like I've said in other musings, and I'm not going to touch on it too much here, but you grow over time. Where I was 10 years ago to where I am now is night and day. And that's a good thing. And that's, if you're a writer, that's something you should be working on. But again, that's covered in my musings. I'm trying not to wander too much into my other topics in my other video because, I don't want to repeat myself. Just kidding. But seriously, yeah, I don't want to do that. So I'll save that for the musings. It should be in Musings 13, I think. But anyways, it'll be in one of those. Anyways, on to point 2, now that I've dragged my feet for 9 minutes. I do have more writing tutorials coming. The musings are kind of like the little vignettes that aren't big enough for a full teaching. But then I have other items that are coming that, like time travel and leadership, plot twists, things like that. Really good, useful stuff if you're an author. And if you're not an author, it's still worth your time to listen to them because it gives you kind of an insight into the world of an author. And I think it would give you more appreciation as a listener and a reader to what authors like myself and others go through in the creative process. But yeah, anyways, all of the details of that, it's covered in the musings. So Smashwords right now has an end of year sale. If you're interested in other ebooks, I'm not going to say, sit here and say buy mine and only mine. No, I'm not like Ebenezer Scrooge. and the ghost of writings past. No, I actually support other authors. I encourage people to read other authors. But yeah, they're having an end of year sale right now. I'm not participating in it. I don't feel a need to. Some years I will. Some years I will not. Sometimes I'll participate in the summer sale, the bi-yearly sale. They have one. I think they have a winter sale like what they're having now, which is their end of year sale. Then they have a summer sale, and then like in March and August or October or something. I don't know. It's like there's like 4 sales a year. There's two of them that are biannual sales, once every 6 months. Then you have the summer sale, and then you have the end of year sale. And right now it's the end of the year sale. So head on over there and check them out. They've got, there's, and with any store, you're going to have the really good authors and you're going to have the not so great authors. But, at the same time, the not so great authors, some of them are newbies, like I once was. They're just starting out, and some of them, I'm not going to go into all of that are there and shouldn't be there, but like I say, that's my opinion. Your opinion may change, because some of you will read some books that, oh, I love this, and I'll read them and go, that's horrible, so to each his own. I'm just saying. Anyways, for those of you who have been asking about the new books coming down the pipeline, that is my to be written folder. And do understand that all of these are working titles. The final book may not actually have this name or these titles or whatever. This one right here is another trilogy I'm working on. I've actually got everything outlined on them. I just don't have enough core story there. I don't have enough of the core story to start writing those, but I've got other things I need to work on first, so I can let that mature. That's not going to be too big a deal. This one here is a kind of a comedy fantasy. It's basically D&D and fantasy books done with cats instead of the traditional men and orcs and all that. It's cats and dogs and birds, and it's kind of this fun tongue-in-cheek exploration of Dungeons and Dragons from a feline perspective, because the hero and all of the humans, if you will, are the cats. But anyways, this one, I'm not sure how that one's going to end up. That might end up as a short story. That might end up getting fully expounded. It started out as a short story. It was about 2.5 pages, and I tried expanding it out, and I hit a real wall with it. But that happens with some of my stories. So that one, I'm going to keep working on it, and if I decide to just abandon the efforts to expand it out, it'll end up as one of my short stories on Short Story Friday. If I do succeed and finally get around the problems I had and it expands out, it'll end up being a full novel or pretty close to it. Unreachable Continent, that one is fantasy. Armchair Empire is a sci-fi. That's a fantasy. That's a parable. That is a expansion to the Offworld Chronicles. That one is an RPG parody. It basically takes all the different RPGs out there, the fantasy, the sci-fi, and different like that, and it basically does tongue-in-cheek and makes fun of it. It's a parody. It's there for the ha-has. Dragons of Mason Street, that one is a fantasy, but it's told kind of from the perspective of the main character, not in first person. It's told more third person, but there are first person and second person elements to it, at least in its current form. Guardians of Offworld, that's another expansion on Offworld. Starship Down, that's a standalone. I'm still developing that one. The TLDR on that is a bunch of guys crash on in a battleship, get betrayed, they crash on a planet, they have to survive on the planet, and the planet is full of surprises, things you wouldn't expect. But anyways, I'll leave it at that. The Giving Spirit, that's another pocket guide like my the other ones I mentioned. What does it mean to be a Christian? Love God's greatest gift and stuff. This one I'm still working on. That's still in development. These are all expansions to the Earthfleet universe. and this one is another off-world one. So I've got 3 off-worlds, 3 off-world expansions. So, and again, this is just what I have in my folder. Not, and just because I have it in my pending folder doesn't mean it'll become a book. I may get into it and may realize it's not going to work, and may realize that it's too clunky. The idea sounded great, but once I started putting pen to paper, it kind of fell apart, which has happened before. Start in on a book, start writing, and I get about 10-20% of the way in, and I'm like, this ain't gonna work, and I just abandon it. So some of these may not make it. Wolf Riders has gotten canceled twice, but then I found some way to save it, and it comes back, but it may end up dying. It just depends on how how I end up playing it out. Not playing it out, excuse me, how I end up working it out and what I come up with for the story and stuff. Because I had some good starter ideas, but as soon as I started expanding them out, they got pedantic, so I walked away from it. But then I got some better ideas that fixed the problem, so I came back. And then that went pedantic again, so I canceled it, and then I came back. And, it's just part of being a writer. And the original idea I had for that may not end up surviving to the final version either. That's what they say at Murphy's Law of Writing. No outline survives the rough draft, and that's true. You can outline all you want to and come up with all these great things, but once pen meets paper, all bets are off. So, but yeah, those are all the different ones. This one, it's not, and don't take it as being a rip-off or anything. But the thing is, the idea of this particular story, Cybertaria, it was originally supposed to be a sub-story of The Land of the Lions, post Book 4. But then I realized it wouldn't work there, so I spun it out on its own in its own unique world. It's about a cat who... he's in a city with humans and cyborgs and machines and other stuff like this, and in the process of living in the city, he gets hurt. Well, a guy comes in to save him. But to save him, he basically has to turn the cat into a cyborg. Which is a small aside for those of you who are Star Trek fans and you like the Borg. The name is an abbreviation of cyborg, which is what the Borg are. They are cyborgs, which is part machine, part man. But anyways, I digress. I figured to throw that in there while that was on my mind. But anyways, yeah, the cat becomes this cyborg, and he goes around the city, and at this point in time, that's all I've got for the story idea. I don't have the primary plot, but basically he's going to run around the city and explore and do things and try to help people and stuff like that. And again, that's the initial idea, but I don't have the core plot and story. And yes, I do understand it sounds a lot like that one video game. I can't remember what it was. It's not Cats or whatever. It was I can't think of what it is, but it was a video game where you wander around as a cat in a city full of an abandoned city with no humans, and it's full of robots and stuff. And like I say, and you have to try to escape and get back out to the outside world. I can't think of the name of it, and I know some of you are probably going to be hearing my idea going, wow, that sounds an awful lot like that. I think, well, yeah, I can imagine some parts of it do, but it's not the same story, not the same type of thing. So it's well, of course, in the video game, the cat didn't turn into a cyborg. He just got a nifty little backpack with a personal a personal sentient drone that would fly around with him and help him with stuff. This one's entirely different. This is the cat that actually turns into a cyborg because he's so heavily wounded that the only way they can save him is to turn him into a cyborg. So he's a cyber kitty. But yeah, anyways, that's kind of what's on my plate still. I figured to show this because I don't think you guys on YouTube and Rumble have actually seen this. I've mentioned this before in some of my regular blog posts. This is, like I say, the latest edition of the pending folder. Some things come, some things go. Depends on what I decide to keep. But I wanted to show you that. Point five, I'm going to continue converting via AI all of my existing, well, not going to continue, I'm going to convert via AI, the text-to-speech, all of my existing novels and series into audiobook and post those on YouTube for you guys. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that somewhere. It might have been on the Musings, which means you probably won't hear that part for a couple of weeks until it catches up to where I was actually mentioning that. But because the Musings are already six episodes ahead of where we are right now. So so yeah, that'll be mentioned in those. So if you hear me repeating myself, don't be surprised. That actually came before I did this, but it's actually going to post after I do this. So I know some people are over there going, "Wow, I'm confused." I know, it's just the way this whole thing ends up working, but we'll get it. We'll get there. But yeah, just to get all of the books that I've got, which is like 25 of them, 25 or 27 that I've published. It's going to take, well, let me see, how many would actually need to go up there? I've got 7 books in Offworld, 7 books in Earthfleet, and 4 in Land of the Lions. 7, 14, and 4, that's 18. Now, I mean, you have 26, well, I average between 21 and 26 chapters. So you figure 26 chapters, that would do half a year. So that's 18 books. That would be 9 years. That assumes that I don't start like doubling them up. Because as I run out of the writing teachings, I'll probably, I'll start with, my plan is to start with Land of the Lions, book 1, Lion in the Wind. And I'm going to start with posting that. And then as I run out of other content, I'm going to, especially the writing tutorials and stuff, eventually I'm just going to run out of that stuff. I will have covered everything. And that will be something that, once I don't have those in there anymore, I'll probably start, I'll probably start a second series, like maybe one of the Earthfleet books or something. Yay, Yanni. Anyways, yeah, I'll probably run like I said, depending on if I have other things like Musings, which I'm pretty sure those are going to run out. And anything I run into with those here in the near future as I run out of content for those, it'll be Monday, Wednesday, Friday will be just stories. So those 9 years worth of chapters will quickly dwindle down to like 3 or 4. So, and then after that, it's just going to be whatever new stuff I produce. But we'll see how it rolls. I think at this point that's all I've got for this update. Anything else I've got that's current, which it'll be a while before you see it, because like I say, it'll be coming out in Musings 13. Anything else that I need to tell you guys, I'll put into the next Musings video, and then you guys can watch those and hear some of the next updates that are coming off of that one. And assuming I also don't do, well, there'll be different updates over there. Those are writing focused. This is just, when I say writing focused, I'm talking about writing in general, like helping authors, helping them understand things, stuff like that. So that's a me giving to you thing. This here, the writing updates, are just me updating you on what I'm doing. So if I need to update that again, I'll put out another writing update for maybe January, February, whatever like that. Also, I'm going to be posting my notes for this on my blog on my website. So if you guys want to go over there and read the notes after I'm done here, you can go ahead and check that out. That'll be in the blog itself over at realmsofimagination.net. Anyhow, that's all I've got for this update. If you guys have any questions, comments, thoughts, like did I miss something or go over something, etc. like that, or over. I shouldn't say go over something. Did I miss something? Forget to go over something, etc. like that? Just let me know. I'll be glad to update you guys. Catch you later.